Hi, I'm Dave,
And I'm Paul.
and we're going to challenge you to transform your financial future through the principles of the most profitable business in the world, banking.
We believe everyone should be involved in two businesses, the business that you're in and the banking business. Everyday people can replicate what bankers have been doing for centuries to leverage capital and build wealth through private lending.
Join us as we uncover the truths about money, expose lies and myths, and flip conventional financial advice on its head. Here we go.
You get the hat on today. Little role reversal.
Oh, with my hat? Okay. Yeah, we just jumped right into it, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah. So Paul's commenting, I'm wearing a hat. Yeah, because I just went to the gym, and I always wear a hat at the gym because I don't like sweat and hair in my face. So I didn't have time to shower when I got home before we got on here. So gotta just throw the hat back on. Yeah. But it looks like you got
it's a good hat.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I went and saw Ming yesterday, got a fresh cut.
Yeah.
And she talked about what she usually talks about, bashing a certain political party, and it's pretty funny to listen to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I've got a haircut scheduled for Wednesday because I haven't been to the barber all summer because I haven't been at drill all summer. But I got drill this weekend, so it's time to go get cleaned up finally. But man, it's been kind of nice, gotta say. No drill all summer long, but time to get back in. And I got to take my PT test. So I've been jogging the last couple of weeks.
That's not. Yeah, I think I have one. I think I have one more. I don't know if the Army's going back to like the old PT test, push up, sit up, 2-mile run, which
Yeah.
was easier to conduct, obviously, and a lot faster. But they might be going back to that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I think I got one more, and then
Yep. Then you can just let it go.
yeah.
Yeah. I may only have one more after this as well, after this weekend. So, because I definitely won't be doing one my last year.
That's right.
What are you going to do? Kick me out? Make me retire? Yeah.
Do me any favors. Anyway, so what are we talking about today?
Well, let's start with something that came up recently with a client that I guess it's worth mentioning because maybe we take it for granted that people know this already, or maybe we feel people should know this. But if you're not a smoker, if you're a smoker, whatever, we're not going to turn you into a non-smoker unless you're really convinced to do that. But if you're not a smoker, which most clients we work with are not smokers, and you don't want a tobacco rating, then avoid all nicotine whatsoever prior to your medical exam. If you go out to a party, you're hanging out with some buddies, you go to a wedding, whatever it might be, the night before your medical exam, don't smoke a cigar. Cigars are fine a couple a year, right? In fact, you and I might encourage it. It's just a social thing. But but it won't affect your rating unless you do that the night before you're going to go pee in a cup and they test you for nicotine and it pops hot. You're not going to get rid of that rating for a full year at best.
Yep. Yeah, I believe most of the companies will say the earliest that they'll relook that is at the policy's anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really don't. I don't think they make exceptions for that.
Because I don't think they do either. And I think there's some anecdotal evidence, or maybe better than anecdotal, that people lie about their tobacco use.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, it's kind of open to interpretation. Do you use tobacco? Do you not? Some people might consider, well, cigars. No, I don't use tobacco because I don't inhale them. Right? I'm not sucking that into my lungs. But it carries nicotine. That gets into your bloodstream.
Yep.
What about those the pouches, the little chew, the dip in the pouches now? That I had one pilot tell me, because a lot of pilots use dip, and some of those guys just gut it. At least when I was flying jets, they would just.
I used to have an instructor pilot,
oh,
John,
man.
that would just it was Red Man.
What? Really? Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. Oh yeah. It wasn't like. It was real man's tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, make no mistake. That's nicotine. You may not be smoking cigarettes, but that still counts. And that would give you a tobacco rating with the insurance company, which what's so bad about a tobacco rating, Paul?
Well, it increases the cost of insurance,
Yeah,
uh,
dramatically.
es- especially if there's, a lot of our policies that we write, a lot of them, or most of them, have some level of term insurance on them, right? Because they have to, because so much premium is being paid that it has to create a certain level of death benefit relative to that premium paid, and that usually comes in the form of term insurance, which is temporary insurance. But the tobacco rating really adds to the cost of that term.
Hmm.
So, example, I had a client recently that was doing some convertible term. I can't remember if it was a 10 or 20 year, but it basically more than doubled the cost of the insurance. So we shrunk the policy so that she could afford the premium.
Yeah.
And it was exactly that situation, like non-smoker, maybe a socially smoker, like every, once a year. And it happened to be, hey, we had a party and I guess I smoked a cigarette or two
Yeah.
or whatever. And there it is.
Yeah. So plan your partying around that. But yeah, when I ran the numbers, it tripled the cost of the term for this client.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Luckily, he's gonna make sure he doesn't do that anymore. And a year from now, we'll go get that removed, and we'll go back to a standard or maybe even better rating. So
And I had a prospective client that I guess had really like scheduled occasional marijuana use. I think we
mhm.
talked about it a while ago, but it was just, I think I smoke marijuana twice per year.
Yeah,
Okay, like every year, two occasions,
yeah,
and they're the same every year, same occasion every year,
and birthday and anniversary. I don't know.
something like that, right? Someone's birthday, someone's anniversary, whatever it is. And I just thought that was funny. I was like, you might, well, from certain companies, regardless, marijuana use guaranteed way to get tobacco rates.
Yeah,
They don't care if it's once per year or you smoke it every day.
yeah, yeah.
So
But so just realize if you have a tobacco rating, you can look into getting that removed if you go a year without smoking or using tobacco or nicotine. Go a year free, nicotine free, and then go back and try to get that rating removed. And I think you'll be surprised at the efficiency of your policy at that point, or how much more death benefit every premium payment buys.
right. So
Yeah,
that, to me, not worth it. But you want to do those things. Hey, you've got insurance that says you can do it, right? You
yeah,
get underwritten
it's all the
for
trade off.
tobacco rates, so have at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a 92-year-old grandfather that has a breathing a tank, an oxygen tank. He rolls around, but he's not going to quit smoking. He's already 92. Not going to convince him to quit the only thing that brings him any joy in life
Right.
anymore, probably. Yeah, but
Right near the pure oxygen,
yeah, well,
which probably has a
hopefully,
sticker on it that says "Do not smoke."
yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't smoke with that thing on. That'd be yeah. All right,
Hold on, let me
well,
take off the mask and get a
yeah,
quick puff.
suck it in. Yeah, like all those people where you live who probably smoke, but then also wear a mask around.
They do.
Yeah. But all right. Well, hey, let's jump in. So you had a conversation with somebody recently, and it gave us an idea of something we could elaborate on. Why don't you discuss that?
Yeah, so I ran into an old friend, and I don't know if he's a listener or not, but an old classmate from college, and it's literally been 21 years and change. Or maybe, no, maybe we ran into, no, I guess we ran into each other at some point during our careers. But anyway, airline pilot now, too. And we were talking when we linked up this past weekend about, yeah, I'm totally on board with, I think, I don't, not, he said, not really a fan of the 401k and just qualified plans in general, locking my money and separating myself from my money. And I think his comment was, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, I don't put words in his mouth, but the thing about infinite banking that I'm not sure about is I don't know if I want to wait so long. And that's kind of where it kind of trailed off. I don't know, wait for so long for cash value to accumulate, wait so long for the policy to become efficient. We really didn't kind of delve too deep because we were, mixed company and stuff. But anyway, and that's a common theme, right? Where we've talked about it. If you want instant liquidity, if liquidity is your thing, there are ways that we can design a policy where it is going to give you that instant liquidity or more liquidity than maybe your run-of-the-mill whatever. But that depends on your financial situation and whether you have the capital to, infuse into a policy right out of the gate. If you don't, if you're a monthly payer, well, it's going to take a while to build up that capital, which is just fine. So I think, his concern, while not invalid, is just coming from a lack of understanding and of what's possible. Yeah. And the overall idea behind Nelson's concept is this: don't be afraid to capitalize. Think long range. Don't be afraid to pay a premium, right? So,
right.
Anyway.
Yeah, of course there's going to be some short-term, leverage you're giving up, right, for the long-term guarantee. So I kind of compare it to really anything else in life. If you think short-term about anything as opposed to long-term, you're going to get perhaps better results in the short term, but you're sacrificing, at the cost of long-term results. Like, you could say health, right? Like, you could use steroids right now and get really good results in the next year. But what's the long-term cost of that? Or you could build muscle gradually, more slowly, without, any adverse effects. Relationships. You could probably get what you want in a relationship right now. Like me and you, if we were negotiating something, you could probably get what you want without, because you don't want to compromise. You want what you want, and maybe you'll win that battle, but the relationship probably won't be a long-term one. And then what about everything you miss on, just like a marriage, everything you'll miss out later on, years down the line, because of all those wins you wanted to take right at the beginning and the short-term, mindset you had with that. So, play the long game.
Yeah. No. Yep. Play the long game. And we are building capital over the long term, generationally, with purpose, with intent. And, the end game is to change the trajectory of an entire line of people that come after us.
Right.
Just like some of the more famous families in America have done for over 100 years now.
Yeah.
Not the Vanderbilts, but, some of those other families.
Yeah.
So, and that's the idea. Not that they made their money in life insurance or got rich by buying whole life insurance. That's not how they got rich. They got rich in their business. But their other business that they were in, and they controlled the banks, right? Mm-hmm. Was banking. Right?
Right.
All those, the Morgans, the Rockefellers, they were all influential in banking, of course. Everyone wanted their business. And they had representatives at the discussion on Jekyll Island about the Federal Reserve and the design of that disaster.
Right. Like you said, Rockefeller was in two businesses, the oil business and the banking business.
That's right.
Just like everybody else should be involved in two businesses. One where you make your money and one where you're the banker.
Yeah. I think our intro says that.
Yeah. I doubt anybody ever listens to the intro anymore. I mean, I never listen to intros. After listening to it a few times,
we need
you just
to
hit the fast forward 30 seconds and get to the meat.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe we'll change up the intro and throw a curveball to everybody to force you to listen to the intro again. Next week, the intro is going to have something in there you don't want to miss out on, so don't fast forward. Or even now, go back to the beginning. Maybe we put something in there for you.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's another question I would ask somebody who, I guess you could look at it a couple different ways. Like, well, hey, how about 10 years from now? Or what about 10 years ago? If you had started this 10 years ago, do you think right now you'd be happy you would have done it? With whatever understanding of infinite banking you have and policies and all that. If their answer is yes, then, hey, well, how about, if you're 40, how about your 50-year-old self comes back and talks to you and says, what do you think they would say? Do this or not do it? You know,
Right.
and if it's not do it,
It-
what else are you doing with your money in the meantime? I think that's a big question.
Oh, like the guy that couldn't just get past like paying interest on policy loans or something. He just didn't
Yeah.
understand. Like,
Yeah.
just
Sometimes it's an emotional thing.
just emotional. Nelson addresses that, right? There's always a cost of capital.
Yep.
Whether you take it out of your savings account and pay cash for it, what you have to put a value on that money you no longer have use of.
Right.
So whether
You
it's
can
10%, 5%, 15%, whatever.
EVA, right?
Uh,
Economic value add. What chapter is that?
That's
I
right.
forget. Yeah.
I forget, but it's not a difficult concept to grasp. Like,
Right.
oh, this guy's a genius. Like,
Yeah,
well,
you
no,
can't treat your money as if your savings. Oh, I've got $10,000 saved up. I'm going to put it somewhere and earn a 1% return on that money because it's all profit, because it's savings, right? It's not costing me anything. I'm earning. Okay, what's the actual cost of that? You're earning 1%. You know, like I don't know. I think he uses the example of somebody who buys a piece of equipment, right?
Yeah.
And they have to determine what's the true cost or earning or rate of return on that equipment. You know, if you're only
That's
making 5%, well, you didn't take the cost of capital into account. You're actually making a lot less than that because your capital could be working doing something else for you. Or if you had to borrow that from the bank, what would it be charging you? So makes you a much more astute user of capital.
Yeah. There's always that unknown alternative use that maybe if you do A, you didn't see B because you were no longer looking because, oh, I did this. And I've done that in the last few years a few times, and it's super annoying because we've talked about this. There's always a better opportunity right around the corner, generally speaking, if you've got the capital to participate in it.
Right.
Or the intellect or the know-how, I guess, to see it as well. But you got to be looking.
Yeah. And we did a podcast, I don't know, several back talking about the unseen advantages of infinite banking. I think that's what it comes down to a lot. When somebody says, well, I don't want to give up that lack of liquidity in the first handful of years, what they're not taking into account is one, the banking process. They're just looking at it as, purely numbers. There's no banking process taken into account. And they'll never know the opportunities that were not presented to them because they didn't have access to capital.
Yeah, that's right.
If you can handle all of those double negatives or triple negatives I just used, you'll never see opportunities that never came your way. Yeah.
That's right.
Right? It's kind of
Just like,
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, it's kind of like, well, you already talked about this, but a deliberate workout routine and diet, a lifestyle of fitness and health, which I've ignored for much of my Army career. I just happen to have, acceptable genetics that I didn't turn into a
superior genes. Just say it.
Right. Then I turn into like you go to high school reunions or you go to your college reunion, you see some people, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
No offense, but, people age at different rates. But just like, my God, the alcohol and the cigarettes have caught up, I guess.
Yeah. The jalapeno poppers when you're drinking alcohol, like that'll
they're so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, thinking long range of, I want to be, one of the biggest benefits to an elderly person is directly correlated to their level of physical activity during their lifetime. Did they keep up with it? There's a lot of data that, they don't have trouble stepping up a step. It's coming down in those muscles that just atrophy over time after they start to atrophy at age 50, age 60, and they never get it back because they've become, stationary and stagnant. But if you've put in the work over a lifetime and you're not a gym rat, that's not the right word, but you care about your health, and he cares about how his hair looks and his fingernails and all these things, right? Dave's a very well put together guy, right? But that's all purposeful.
Play good.
Yeah, that's right. but that's all purposeful, right? There's an, you want to be as long, he wants to be around as long as possible, so he can see, the work that he's put in over his lifetime has, created this legacy of learning and this legacy of, hey, we have a family banking system. But if you can't see that because you're focused on tomorrow, you've got to be focused on 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Children, their children, the next generation. And not that you have to have heirs to do IBC, and that's the only reason to do it. That's a reason to do it.
Yeah. But there's so much unseen, and I want to hit on that point a little more, because when somebody, all they see is the numbers, and I've got a lack of liquidity in the first handful of years because my capital, there's a negative rate of return, right? You're buying permanent life insurance. You're building a business. You're building a second business, a banking business. So there's a cost to that initially. That's right. It's going to be recaptured, no doubt, but it's a long-term play. It's kind of like, it makes me think of like, I've been in paid coaching groups before, like paid mastermind groups. And, I'm like, I got to pay all this money. I got to fly out to California and go to this conference when I was doing real estate investing and that kind of stuff. What I didn't see before I went was the relationships and the opportunities that were going to come from those relationships over the years. I mean, some of those relationships I still have years later, and I've made more than made my money back from that conference fee.
Yep.
Just by flying out there, making connections, or getting a good idea, one or two really solid ideas that over time have more than made my money back for me. But there's no way to foresee that happening before you actually take the steps to do it. So don't be captured and be thrown off track because of only what you see. There are things you can't see until you're doing it, that are there, like opportunities for those who are well capitalized.
Yeah, I mean, the IBC network is fantastic.
It really is. I mean, this network is phenomenal, right?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal agents. We're in a little mastermind group that we, I guess, host our, amongst ourselves, right, with a bunch of great guys, who are kicking butt in the space, and just they're honest. And man, we all make each other better. We've got new guys, we've got guys who've been in the business a while. We're fairly junior in the business, relatively speaking, right?
And young in the business.
There's,
yeah, just our age,
no question.
So just throw that plug out there, man. Like, if you want to get into this business and you're young, like in your 30s, like, get in the business, because you go to you see all these agents. Most agents are 50 or older.
Easy. So
easy, right? So we're actually on the young end. So if you want to feel young and you're in your early 40s, yeah, get into this business, because it definitely makes you feel younger.
And a lot of people do express interest in getting into the infinite banking concept, I guess sales business as life insurance agents. It's I'll tell you what, there's some free chicken for everybody, and I really hate that saying. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, you say it all the time. It's like saying too easy.
It used to annoy me when people would say it. Well, it's a free chicken. Like, okay, here comes some brilliance coming out of your mouth. It's like, there's a couple of dudes in particular. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you can say, thanks for the warning. Now I know I don't need to listen.
Yeah. I'm now in screensaver mode.
Yeah.
But if you got to be dedicated. One, you have to be paying a high premium relative to your income. If you are not, this is not for you.
Yeah. Or you get in what you get out what you put in, I guess is another way to say it. Like, if you just want to go to the gym and do arm curls 3 days a week and never hit the legs or the chest or the back, or you just do the front, right? Chest and arms.
Yeah.
And never do your back, you're going to get out what you put in, which, it's
can't ignore that back.
Same in everything you do in life. Yeah.
But anyway, it takes a high level of dedication, time, knowledge, study. Think of I guess for anything, right? Think of the best people doing whatever it is and what it took them to get there. You look at who's the the best athlete, the best free throw shooter, or the best 3-point shooter. Steph Curry comes to mind today, right? He can, make 50 in a row from 3-point range in practice. It's
Yeah.
thousands and tens or hundreds of thousands of shots over his career, right? Just practice, practice, practice. And likewise, the level of dedication it takes to keep up in this business and to be, to service your clients. So anyway, people want to get into it. It's great. I highly encourage it, but just know what you're getting into. It's not a hobby.
No. At some point, I had some business coaches in the beginning, that said at some point you got to make the choice to go full time or not do it at all. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you got to jump in full time. Just like any business that you're building, you may build it on the side. You don't want to put your family at risk by just, making a rash decision and jumping in full time, because then that's how I make the biggest splash. Well, it could be that case for some people, maybe, very rarely, but eventually you got to go full time, or else you're just dabbling. You're a hobbyist, and nobody out there looking to work with somebody putting an IBC plan together for them and teaching them this concept is looking for somebody who just does this as a hobby.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think, obviously everyone knows that I do this part-time, I guess. But I would say this is not a hobby. This is obviously I take this very seriously, and I'm probably more the exception than the rule, I guess.
Yeah, I think what you do is pretty difficult, working full-time active duty Army.
Dude, I got my first client meeting tomorrow with the green card holder, actually, tomorrow morning at 5:30. So,
oh, really?
I have an open window on my Calendly for 5:30 in the morning.
Really?
It's the first time someone selected. I was like, yes.
So you're East Coast time. So is this guy East Coast as well?
He's East Coast. Yeah, he's in I think Jersey or something. But
yeah, that's right.
But anyway, I offer that time because it's easier for me. I get up, have my coffee, and take a nice morning meeting, and before the kids are out of bed, and then I can get in. It doesn't disturb me at night. I'd rather do morning meetings than evening.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's what it takes. When you retire, you can take that block off of your calendar and you can start your day at 9 a.m. if you want.
I'll probably start earlier than that. I'm an Army guy, so
yeah. Yeah, you don't sleep.
Don't sleep.
Sleep is for the weak. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, guess what? You'll be a dead lot sooner than me because you don't sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
It's all good. Guys. Yeah, I do get my sleep though.
Yeah,
most of the time. But anyway, is that it? What else do we got?
I mean, it's really think long term, and that's one of the basic tenets of infinite banking is think long term. Don't be afraid to capitalize. Think long term. Usually, the reason people are afraid to capitalize is because they're not thinking long term. So I think that's the most important one: is think long term.
Yeah, and I think they get stuck on product and not process.
Sure. Yep.
If you understand IBC, you're going to pay high premium relative to your income.
Yeah.
You're going to. And for all of you people out there that, God bless you, you're probably not listening anyway because you're just not listening, but the people that say, "Oh, I understand it." Or my friend does IBC. He's a life insurance agent. Well, no, he doesn't, because he would have told you about it already.
Yeah,
because it's that good. It's that good of a process. It's that good of a mindset. So no, you don't get it. We hope you do. It would be awesome. But
that's why we do this podcast, so you do get it. But also encourage you to go back to the book, Becoming Your Own Banker. Check it out.
Yeah, some people don't like that book. Okay, pick up The Case for IBC, or How Privatized Banking Really Works, or Building a Warehouse of Wealth.
Yep.
Right there.
I mean,
but I'll be honest with you, Dave. Plug for Nelson, of course, and the Institute. I can't pick this up enough and just pull out a couple of pages and just reread it.
Yeah.
I always get something out of it.
Yeah, me too. And you can tell when somebody hasn't read it. But
yes,
I'll always go back to, have you read the book? No, I haven't. I haven't had the time. It's 92 pages. If you don't have 3 hours to carve out in the next 2 weeks,
so
everybody has the time.
Yeah, I always use this when people tell me that, and I bring up an example of my wife, who, when we met in Afghanistan, Tammy had 2 kids in diapers, was a full-time student getting her graduate degree in nursing.
When you and I met in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Tammy had
And
2 kids in diapers.
yep. And she was doing the major school, ILE in the Army, CGSC, right? She was doing that distance learning.
Yeah, ACSC.
All
Air Force.
simultaneously.
That's
by
ridiculous.
herself.
That's a lot.
So these, if you're you come to me or Dave is a single dude with no kids and, whatever, I haven't had time to read it. Like, you got time.
You got time.
You got nothing but time.
You got nothing but time. Man.
God bless you. You have nothing but time.
Wait till you have a family and tell me. But my case, like, are you even a dad? You only have 2 kids. Come on.
Who, me?
Yeah, like, get back to me when you got at least 6.
Well, I think
I'm kidding.
if you only have one, you know who's doing everything. Like, who peed all over the seat? Like, you know who it is.
Yeah, there's no guessing. It's like,
and of course, I only have one boy, so I know who it is.
I've got this remote in my office. I mean, not remote. This phone charger in my office.
Oh, and it gets taken, right?
And I've threatened their lives. Everybody in this house. If anybody steps foot in my office and takes my phone charger out, I'm coming for you. And guess what? The next week, phone charger was gone. Nobody took it. Not a single person took it, right? It just disappeared. Yeah. So. Yeah,
I usually just split the blame 50-50 and make, I just make it equal. It's one of y'all.
I'm going to punish all of you until somebody fesses up or you guys decide who's taking the blame this time.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we have the same problems. That's good.
We're not alone, man. The more I talk to parents, it's like we all have the same issues.
Yep. No question. And the more I, kind of hang out with other people too, is I realize how not awful my kids are. They're actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
so
yeah, I love my kids, man. They're a joy. In fact, I can't wait to have dinner and then go to the pool because now I got some little girls who actually get excited about going to the pool. My boys are too old now, Right. It's kind of like I got to drag them to the pool but then they get there and they have fun. But the little girls are like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
well, enjoy every minute, man. And so bottom line from this episode, everybody, think long range. Don't be afraid to capitalize. Process over product.
Yep. And is your 10-year older self gonna thank you for starting this today or not? Look forward 10 years, and I have no doubt that person is gonna thank you for doing this. So,
100%.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and until then, control your capital,
or somebody else will.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you'd like to have a conversation with us to see how you can become your own banker, or if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle on a future episode, please send us an email to davidandpaul@theibcguys.com.
And subscribe and leave us a review if you're on Apple. Follow and leave us a 5-star review if you're on Spotify. And please share this with your friends. We'll see you next week.